This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system.
Hello! I nearly forgot to press it there. One of these days, it'll be smooth.
Yeah, it will.
It'll
will
be as smooth as a jar of Shipham's beef paste.
Ooh,
Came up with an invention for you before, didn't I?
Yeah.
Dave loves beef paste, and he's one of the only people in the country, I think.
Yeah.
You keep Shipham's going.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's been a very hot day. It still is very hot in here.
So if there are any any reps watching, just sponsor us or send me.
Dave would eat
bucket loads of beef.
Dave would eat frozen beef paste pops.
Yeah.
As like is there any meat, frozen meat?
There's no meat in it anyway.
No frozen meat products on the market?
No. Well, you see.
I mean, apart from frozen meat, but nobody eats frozen.
Let's go to the butchers and
just a frozen sausage.
Just a frozen chop.
Yeah, it's not
lollichops.
Lollichops, yeah.
There you go.
Hello, we're off to the usual football
great banter.
Start. Great banter. Yeah, we've got a busy show lined up today because we've got lots of people coming up north.
Yeah.
From down south. Dorking. Where is Dorking anyway?
Who's Dorking anyway?
We're going to find out, aren't we? The Wanderers are going to be in town on Saturday, followed by Wealdstone.
Yeah. Well, we know them.
She's in London.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah,
inside the M25. I've just been reliably informed.
Yeah.
So they're coming up on Tuesday. So our season kicks off big time this week with 2 home games. Building on the point we got on Saturday.
Yeah, will we be kings of the north after Tuesday, do you think? With the southern invaders coming up here, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think they're planning on taking over. I don't think there'll be enough of them, to be honest.
Well, yeah, how many do you think?
I mean, if Millwall have been up here and they didn't manage it, I don't think Dorking and Wealdstone.
They came pretty close, didn't they?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, let's not upset the Millwall fans. Don't upset Millwall fans.
There's no Millwall fans watching.
You never know.
So we've been busy, haven't we, in the last 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Recording quality content.
Few days. You could have said days.
No. I think if we said we've been doing this for days, then people would think that our skills really are as poor as they believe they are. So
yes.
We've done a new feature. Should we kick straight off with that in terms of the Torquay?
Or should we talk about Torquay just in general? Be happy with the result?
Yeah, delighted with the point on the road. Yeah, opening game, clean sheet. Should have scored. Got some really good chances.
Yeah, Hope missed a sitter.
Yeah.
Fond up 2 half chances.
That was a great volley where he just lashed it wide.
Inches wide.
Yeah.
But Torquay in general, really nice people, really good away fans. Didn't sell beer in the away end, which is a bit of a gutter. But I was sort of glad because we went on it on the Friday. Well, you didn't because you didn't come.
I was supposed to, yeah. I'm gutted.
Went out on the Friday night. Bit worse away on the Saturday. Felt a lot worse. Hilly, Torquay. Give you that. Everywhere was a hill and lots of walking. We did 40,000 steps, me and the other Dave. So it was good. It was all good. But yeah, I think we should have won. And with 10 men, you can't complain. But we'll get on to the 10 men in a minute.
Well, where is it? Shall we do our new feature?
Yeah.
Come on, ref!
Go away!
That's a shocking decision!
Calm down, play advantage.
Ref, the ref review. It's the ref review. Dave's done a ref review. And we'll tell you why, or you'll find out why now.
Hi, welcome to the Boundary Park Alert System referee review with Dave Bradley. I'm a referee, but at least I'm a good one. Unlike Lee Collins, who took charge of the Torquay United versus Oldham Athletic game on Saturday. Lee, you gave out 6 yellow cards in the game, all of which were dubious. The second yellow card for Dan Gardner, I would have to agree, you got that one right. You missed a clear penalty on Mike Fondop and also giving Liam Hogan a yellow card for being off the pitch and handballing was appalling. Lee, you must do better. It's a red card from me. 2 out of 10. Well,
Are you happy with that, Dave? Are you
Well,
embarrassed?
considering we did it, yeah, very embarrassed. Well, every referee's embarrassed in life. That's why we become referees. But yeah, if anyone from the FA is watching, it's just a bit of fun. But we know you don't have any senses of humour, so
but that's going to get you into even more trouble.
yeah, that's fine. But yeah, well, you might as well go down with the burning ship, aren't you? Which is this show anyway.
So you weren't very impressed with the ref, clearly.
No, he's rubbish.
But I believe, and one of our guests has already alluded to the fact that that is going to be pretty much a theme in the National League. Anyway, and this is up and coming refs doing their best, learning the trade.
Yeah.
Was he a young lad?
Not really, no.
That's not a good sign, is it? If he's older and he's
he just had a bit of an arrogance around him, in my opinion. He was just running around, and he was. And if we get a call called LC1 ref, don't answer it. But yeah, he wasn't the best. He relied on his linesman too much. If you want assistant referees, not linesmen, do apologise. If you look at the Fondot penalty incident, he was at the halfway line when the actual incident happened. He was
miles away from it.
He looked at the assistant. The assistant obviously was instructed not to come in with a decision, because some referees insist upon that because they want to make all the decisions in crucial key match incidents, KMIs.
Yeah.
So
not much point having an assistant then, is there?
Not really, but yeah, it was blatant as day penalty. But hey, 0-0. It's fine. He got a 2 out of 10, so hopefully it won't interfere with his next performance at our place.
Well, he is after that now. He's going to be.
Yeah, he's going to be.
But the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that was on TikTok. We've got a TikTok channel now. It's at OFC Podcast, which is the same as Twitter and Instagram and that. So Dave will be showing himself up on there every week with his ref reviews. So so that'll be fun.
And it is just a bit of fun. If there are any referees who decide to like lambast me, it is a bit of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's subjective, isn't it?
just don't attack me in the street. It's fine.
It depends if people watching think it's a bit fun or think it's stupid. Let us know. Someone's. We need to wish Chris Stringer well, do we?
Yes, we do. Yeah, our first ever call on the Latics Football Phone In. He's not doing too well, but all's good at the moment. So, Chris, from me and Matt, get well soon, mate. Yeah, we really do hope you get well.
We wish you well,
soon.
mate. And speaking of France, Dave and Matt are listening from France and travel back on Saturday night, so we'll not get back for Dorking. However, we are going to stop and watch the match somehow. Well, it's on BT Sport, so...
Yeah, what do you think it's in France? Is that Le BT?
BT
Sport.
But anyway, speaking of Dorking, and since they have been good enough to join us on the phone, should we bring our guests in?
Yeah, let's do that, yeah.
Should we start with Dan?
Yeah, well, the Dorking Wanderers match reporter, Dan Stobbart, has kindly agreed to come on, so welcome, Dan.
There he is.
Hello. Evening, chaps. How are we doing? All right.
Great, thanks. I think it's only fair, Dan, that since Dave has done his ref review and gave it Lee Collins 2 out of 10, can you review Dave's ref review, give him points out of 10?
Oh, it's got to be a 10, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to come on, you might as well, keep the horse happy.
Keep the horse happy because we'll just cut you off.
Thanks for joining us, Dan. What do you do for Dorking Wanderers?
Yes, I've been involved with the club through the National League South years, basically. Yeah, it's just over the last 3 seasons, obviously into this one now. Just doing the match reports for the website and the programme every week, and also helping them out with the Twitter and the social media on a match day, and doing some content for the website and the programme and things like that. So just very much having on the media side, and it's been unbelievable. It's coincided with this unbelievable journey we've had in the last few years, obviously going through the National League South and into the Premier where we are today. Yeah, so onwards and upwards.
So you've been paying very close attention to the football, to the matches and the performances and everything that's led you to this point. Give us a little bit of an insight into your season last season and how you got promoted and just where you're at as a side at the minute.
Well, I mean, it's been a real journey. This last 3 seasons, I've been 3 seasons back. It got promoted from the Isthmian Premier Division into Step 2, into the National League South for the first time in the club's history. Went on to have a good season. Obviously, it was curtailed at the end with with COVID in March. We had to go on the points per game route, which and off the back of that, the club ended up finishing in 7th place. So just got into the playoffs in that particular season. Got past Bath in the eliminator stage, but then got beat unfortunately by Weymouth in the semi-finals. So we went into next year, and it was a really heartbreaking season. Obviously, it was for every club in non-league. Obviously, the COVID season, where unfortunately halfway through the campaign it was null and voided. But from the Wanderers' perspective, they were in a situation around that midpoint where they were top of the league, 5 points clear, had a game in hand. So it was a really difficult one to take. So we rolled on into this past season, and they've managed to kick on again. Had a real tight race with Maidstone right to the wire. Maidstone got over the line, had put together a fantastic run of results to get the automatic spot and win the division. And then from Wanderers' point of view, I mean, really, it was an injury hit campaign, really, as well. And throughout the season, we had Jason Pryor, who's been the talisman striker for a number of years at the football club. He missed a lot of the campaign. Matt Briggs, Barry Fuller, key for the side on the right hand side of the attack. They unfortunately missed a number of months as well. But in spite of that, really rallied and had a 10-game winning run through the course of November and December. As I say, went all the way to the end with Maidstone. Obviously, ended up going down the playoff route. And then 2 really dramatic games to get over the line. Got past Oxford City in the semi-final, and then I mean, just one of the most unbelievable occasions in the final against Ebbsfleet Meadowbank. Went behind in the game, got back to 1-1, and then with 3 minutes to go, they 2-1, and you're thinking, oh right, this is we resigned to another season in the National League South. But Luke Moore deep into stoppage time, 2-2, pandemonium, and we forced extra time. And then with that momentum, thankfully managed to find the winner in extra time, Alfie Rutherford, scoring that in the first half of extra time, and 3-2, and here we are today. And an unbelievable culmination to this 3 years we've had in the National League South. Another promotion, so it's just 12 promotions in the 22 completed seasons the club have had. It's a British record, unbelievable. And here we are now, National League Premier, and let the journey begin. Yeah, here we go. Yeah,
that's mad. I mean, like, can we? Because I think what's been really interesting today is in terms of like this, because the journey you've been on, the journey we meet in the league as equals in the league on Saturday, and like you've just referenced there, 22 years. That's all the club's been around for, right? 22 seasons.
Well, formed in 1999, but with the COVID, it's like 12 promotions in the 22 completed seasons. So 1999, when they've been founded.
We've had 2 promotions since 1974. So like that's the different. I mean, obviously, like we've been playing at a different level, and it's all different. But we are one of the worst teams in the football.
The worst, the most depressing team.
Yeah, to support. So, when you were just describing extra time, pandemonium, the excitement, it's just
not fair.
I remember the last time we went up in 1990-91 season, and it's a long, long time ago now. I'm going to bring in James because I believe, James, you played for one. Was it the first Dorking side? Was it, or certainly early on in the?
Evening, guys.
Hi,
thanks.
Mate.
Thanks, Dan. I'm glad Dan's left me a little bit to talk about. Blimey there, Dan. That's a hard act to follow with what you were talking about there.
Introduce yourself, James.
Edited down. Yeah, apologies.
James, introduce yourself, please, mate.
Yes, hi, guys. I'm James Lampard. I played for Wanderers for a couple of seasons back in 2000, about 2003, 2004, around that time. My younger brother, he played when Wanderers were first formed in 1999. Right. He played in that first side, and I went to watch him a few times, but I was away at university. And then by the time I came back and stuff, then I started playing for them around that time as well. Obviously, so same manager as now, Mark, same person, and same person running it the whole time. unbelievable. So when Mark is interviewed and he talks about we were just a team and we had people that were dragging the nets across the pitch and stuff, that was the sort of thing we would have to do. Yeah, drag the nets across the pitch. And where we played was next to a main road, and it was a car park over the other side. It's basically a rugby area. And there's big rugby pitches there and stuff. And there were some football pitches, but the football pitches were as far away from the change rooms as you could get. So people would deliberately turn up a little bit late so they didn't have to do the nets. And then they'd just park on the side of the road and come out and find the nets were up, the flags were up, everything was set. So they'd just come out and get changed. And then they wouldn't have to do any of the nets and the flags and anything.
Were you nice to referees as a player, James?
Oh, yeah, always. I thought your thing you did there was absolutely superb, actually. Yeah, brilliant. Like Dan.
Out of 10.
Good.
Oh,
10.
10. You can come back.
One thing's for sure, it can only go downhill.
Yeah, well,
if it's Oldham related, it only goes downhill.
Yeah.
I find it's bizarre, really, when you talk about that kind of stuff. Because I mean, we've all played football at that level. We've all played football where you put in the net. Not at that level, to be honest. I'm nowhere near that good at football. But in terms of putting the nets up on a Sunday morning, it's very, very relatable to me as someone who's played football. Whereas obviously at a professional level, it's not. But you're going to be playing us on Saturday in the league as equals, and isn't it really? It must be. It's kind of crazy for us for the wrong reasons. It must be amazing for you guys. You must be really proud of what's been achieved.
It's unbelievable. It's like a fairy tale story, if I'm honest with you, and it's just season upon season, success after success. It's a credit to you, really. What? Excuse me for my ignorance, but who are the? Can you tell us about the ownership and how that sort of moved on? Dan, James, about how it's moved on through the seasons and how you formed into such a club now that's a force in the National League as such.
I mean, James has obviously been involved from the very early days, but really, Mark, as you said, Mark White, been the manager and the owner of the club since day one, and really early on, got a very committed committee around him and team around him off the field, and has helped in those transitional periods that have come thick and fast, off the field. And they started off playing on the rental pitch in Rock Big Field, and big transition to the West Humble stadium that they moved to for throughout the Isthmian years, and then to the point we are now with Meadowbank, which is a fantastic stadium just off the high street in Dorking, and 3,000 capacity, and so it's credit really to Mark's drive and ambition, having been there since day one, and that team that he's put in and around him off the field, and even on the field as well. I mean, we saw in the starting lineup on Saturday, he's half a dozen, several players who've been there for these last 6-7 seasons, and have been part of the journey, that core group on the field as well, and then that loyalty and commitment that's really driven the club on. So it's testament to that. And one of those is James McShane, and he got the goal that half the deficit on Saturday in midfield. He's been with the club for several seasons. So, it's been an unbelievable journey. I don't know if James been involved before myself. Got anything else to mention there? Yeah.
James, what's your experience of working with Mark over the years?
Well, so it's funny, isn't it? Because obviously he's the same person that he's always been. Mark is Dorking through and through. He's grown up in the town. Everybody in Dorking knows Mark. He's grown up in the town. His businesses have pretty much always been in and around the town as well. He loves the town of Dorking. So he formed the team in 1999, and he had people around him then, and a lot of those people he still sort of name checks when he sort of talks about the history of the club and the people that, because when you first set a team up, you don't need much. You need sort of like a secretary, somebody that's going to do the fixtures and bits and pieces like that, and a couple of then your sort of coaching staff, and then as it goes on, obviously starts to develop and you start to get people around you. But so many of those people that are around and that are on the board and the committee and stuff, they're still just volunteers really, and they're people that Mark has met through either business or, people will want to go to be at Dorking at the club. So when you guys come up to us, it will just be full of volunteers that are all just local people that are helping out, directing people where they need to be, stuff like that. So it's very sort of grounded in that respect. In terms of off pitch staff that are actually employed by the club, there's less than a handful. There's a couple of people, somebody that does a lot of the scoping out, gets all the sponsorship, and then Mark Beard, one of the coaches, ex-Millwall player, he is on the full-time staff. But other than that, nobody else really is employed actually by the club.
So I'll ask you a little bit in a minute about your first game in the National League against Chesterfield on Saturday, which sounded quite eventful by all accounts. You obviously got off the mark straight away with a point, which is fantastic. But have you reached? Is this dreamland? Is this like a maybe 1 or 2 seasons? Can this keep growing? Because it sounds like this has already been a fantastic achievement. Or what's the plan? What's the ambition? And presumably it's to sort of like stay in the National League and try and build from there. But I mean, we talk a lot about Salford City because they're in our region, and obviously they've got Class of '92 throwing loads of money, and Peter Lamb owned the club, and they've got these ambitions, which we think are a bit lofty, really, because it takes a long time to build up the kind of support and the travelling fans and all that kind of stuff. So I've got my doubts about Salford becoming much more than they are. But you've got teams like Forest Green that are up. And what's the vision for Dorking?
Well, I mean, Mark has made it clear, really, in everything he's kind of said in pre-season and reflected again in Saturday. They're certainly not going into the division to make up the numbers. They're really, we're aiming to be competitive, look to really mix it with the bigger teams in the division, and keep that ethos and that theme going of winning. And that's what they're embedding the culture of the club and what they're looking to do. So that ambition will remain. You've got to reconcile that, of course, with the fact that it's a step up, and with one of the 2 part-time sides in the league against obviously a division full of full-time and established sides. You've got to reconcile that, and of course, for any new team coming up, survival's paramount. But certainly, Mark will want to be striving to be competitive and finish as high up the table as they possibly can do, and really mix it up. And I think it's reflected in the fight back on Saturday, and it's certainly reflected in his post-match comments on Saturday. Certainly not happy with the result. Felt they could have done a lot more on the day. So yeah, no, despite that step up and what you're saying, and obviously it's tough. And you mentioned Salford there, and building a fan base. You've had such a fast ascent through the leagues. It's not always easy. But no, they'll certainly be looking to keep pressing on, keep kicking on, and keep building. Yeah.
He was furious, wasn't he, at half time, by all accounts. I was reading the non-league paper today. He was absolutely fuming at the 2-0 deficit. And he said, again, we're here to challenge for everything. We're here to win games. We're not going to fold over. We're not going to bow down to anyone in this league. So, yeah, even just reading his comments, you could see the anger behind his assessment of the game, really. It was... yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a bit worried about Saturday, if I'm honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, we always are when it's Oldham. We're always worried about Oldham, but to me, it sounds like I'm drawing like a very much a non-league comparison to Ferguson, like at United, in terms of. I know there's not really any, but like when you've got somebody who's so ingrained at the club who takes them on a journey, and the club becomes their essence. This is the same at Dorking, and United have struggled massively since, which obviously hilarious for everybody else, but they've struggled massively since Fergie left. Long may it continue. But is this going to be? Is it a concern for you, James, as a Dorking fan and people who are interested in Dorking that might fall away when Mark either stops managing the team, or because it's very much about him and his philosophy. Can it carry on without him doing everything like he is now?
No, it is a good question, and it is something that I think, I think he's left his footprint on this team massively, and I think also the coaches that he has around him are all in that same mold, exactly that same mold, and he's got assistant managers, but he's got his chief first team coach, who's head of coaching at the whole club, who is Mark Beard, who has got that football league experience. As an ex-professional, played for Millwall, played for Stevenage, got lots and lots of coaching experience and things like that as well. He's a bit of a legend at Millwall. So he, if you ever envisage anybody sort of stepping in, there are those sort of people there that would do the same thing. But I can't see that the style or the kind of ethos of the club would change massively. And I think Mark will always be involved anyway, because something like this, he would just step up into the boardroom and just become the chairman, but wouldn't be managing the side anymore.
Yeah, and I think
and
with
he
lessons,
would obviously still have all that involvement in the club. Yeah.
It's like lessons learned with Hereford United, you know, when Graham Turner was involved, so he invested everything, didn't he? And then he became the manager, the owner. And that went by the wayside. So obviously, it sounds like Mark's not going to be daft and follow that sort of footstep, is he? You know, but it's just like, you know, you see these clubs fold away when the manager turns owner and stuff like that. So I bet that plays on his mind and stuff like that, doesn't it?
There are obviously quite a few differences between Dorking Wanderers and Manchester United.
Quite a few.
One of them being just the overall size of the two organisations and the amount of people involved in them. So obviously, Mark has a lot more influence on the day-to-day running of the club than any manager at Man United was. It is. I just thought it's interesting though. I think because at Oldham, you know, when we had Joe for a long time, and then Joe left, and you know, obviously ever since we've struggled. And I just think sometimes that if you're not careful, when somebody is so pivotal within any organisation, you can become too reliant upon it, and things can fall away after. So it'll be interesting. How old is Mark, by the way? Because I don't know anything about him, to be honest.
He's about 40, late 40s.
Right. Okay. So he's young. He's young. He's got plenty of time.
6 years older than me. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I'm not sure if Adam's still there. I think he is. Hopefully he is, because Adam is from Wealdstone's podcast, and I thought it'd be nice to, because we played them on Tuesday. You guys don't really know anything about the National League in terms of what it's like to be in it, because this is you're only one game in. Same with us.
We don't want to know either.
No, we've fallen. I did, but Wealdstone, who Adam's here to talk about, were here last season. So I thought we could bring Adam in, and we could all talk about the National League, and we can talk about the upcoming games. Hi, Adam. How are you doing?
All good, chaps. All good. Thanks for the invite.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. So tell us about you. You've got a podcast. Is that right?
We do. Yeah, we do. It's called Stones Cast. Imaginatively named, as you can tell. This is our second season doing it. We started it last year to coincide with it wasn't our first year back because of the curtailed season with COVID, but first year back with fans, and it seems everyone at this level and above has it. So yeah, we started one. It's been running for just over a year now.
It's great fun stuff, isn't it? It's good fun, isn't it? You know, we just did it conversation really. I know you were doing a podcast before, weren't you, Matt? But we just had a conversation at Harrogate game to do something like this, and it has been
brilliant.
It's just great, and you meet all these people like Dorking fans, ex-Dorking players, yourself. It just opens a wider community of the league and the National League, and you know,
what can we both expect from the National League? Tell us how Wealdstone have adjusted to it and how you're finding it.
What can you expect? We've already covered the referees. We've been shocked by the level of officiating at this level. I don't know whether the Dorking guys agree, but for me, the National League proper, the National League National, is kind of the drop-off point for where football kind of ends. To anyone who watches like mainstream football, anything below that, from a media coverage perspective, it just dies after that. So for us, stepping up into the National League, suddenly you're on BBC website getting match reports, and you're covered on although it's just been cancelled, the classified results and all that kind of stuff. So it felt proper, first of all, for us stepping back into that level. In terms of what to expect, very different things, obviously, for you guys coming down as opposed to Dorking and us coming up. First of all, our ground, that will be a character building experience for you. Our ground is a hodgepodge of various different structures that have been put together over a period of time. We inherited that ground. I don't know how much you guys know of the history of Wealdstone.
Is it Grosvenor? Is it Grosvenor?
Grosvenor, yeah.
Sorry, Grosvenor, sorry.
Yeah. So first of all, Wealdstone, the place, is very close to Harrow and Wealdstone, in the London Borough of Harrow. We play in the London Borough of Hillingdon in Ruislip, which is about 5 or 6 miles actually out of Wealdstone. We've been in Ruislip at what was the old Ruislip Manor Football Club, which was like Spartan League, which is level 53 of the National League pyramid, of the league pyramid. I mean, we inherited basically a best part of a park pitch, and to think that we're now playing at a National League level, and don't get me wrong, we've had numerous issues keeping our ground grading. I don't know if you saw last year, but we had to play a game behind closed doors because our pitchside fence collapsed twice. We had to spend 40 grand putting a new pitchside fence in.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming down to our place, it's probably the worst, and I mean that in the nicest way. It's our home and it's our thing, but it's about as non-league grounds get.
There's a video on YouTube. Some Australian guy's done it. I don't know why particularly, but he's gone around all the grounds with there's drone footage that they picked up and like sort of rated all the grounds. And there isn't another league where the difference between the top stadia and the bottom sort of stadia, the worst facilities, is so huge. You've got like Meadow Lane at Notts County and Wrexham and Oldham and Chesterfield and York, really good stadiums. And then like what you've just described there.
You say about Chesterfield. So we were at Chesterfield the first game of last season, and we rocked up there, and I got out and I thought, what on earth are we doing here? This is ridiculous. The away concourse underneath where the bar is was bigger than most of our ground. And it was just, it's kind of humbling. But at the same time, we very quickly had to adapt to, we are here on merit. And like we are at a huge disadvantage because we are one of, I think, only 2 teams that are part-time. Are Dorking full-time or part-time?
Part-time. I think it's just us and yourselves. For the league, part-time.
So you got the two part-time teams, and every year it gets a little bit harder to compete with yourselves, Wrexham, Stockport, Notts County, whatever it is. But we do all right.
It's kind of like the FA Cup first round, second round, possibly third round every week, isn't it? Like for us, we've got those potential banana skins that you're always talking about when you go into places. I know we've been to places like Chasetown and wherever, or we went to Lincoln when they were in the National League and got absolutely thumped. And then you guys have the different mentality is we're going to Oldham, we're going to Wrexham, we're going wherever, we're going to beat them. And this is our chance, and I guess is that what makes the division so competitive? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we said last year. I mean, you're quite right in terms of, for us, the last season felt like FA Cup first round or third round day every week. It was, the novelty was amazing. How long that lasts for, keep doing it. Hopefully, we stick around for a few years. But it is such a competitive league. It is such a competitive league. And I say, it felt last year more like League Two. You look at some of the sides at the bottom of League Two, and again, I'm saying this without meaning any disrespect to your Crawleys, your Stevenages, your Barrows, your Harrogates. To me, a lot of those are traditional non-league teams. Whereas, obviously, we lost Stockport and Grimsby last year, but Wrexham, Chesterfield, even obviously yourselves and Scunthorpe, you're talking not just like league teams, you're talking established League One, Championship, Premier League teams. It's mad. It's a mad league. Yeah, but I love it.
I guess you're looking forward to it as well, Dorking. From that point of view, you can't wait to get stuck in. And you took a point. Was it a well-earned point for you guys on Saturday? It must have been a scrap, I guess. You went down to 10 men. Oh no, did they go down to 10 men? They went down to
Ollie Banks went in net.
Yeah.
So
did that work in your? I guess that works in your favour, did it? The extra man.
Yeah, I mean, it was. The first 20 minutes, you'd say that Chesterfield really showed what they're all about. Very organised at the back, and then the link-up play with the front players, particularly Asante, Dobber, and Quigley, really impressive. It took a deserved lead around the midway point of the half. But then, the dynamic flipped. The goalkeeper, Kovalan, he really I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen the replay since the game. I'm not sure what he was doing, but basically sort of stamped on Ryan Seeger just outside the box. Rightly got the red card. Well spotted by the officials, to be fair, in praise of the officials. But yeah. But in spite of that, to be fair, they kept pressing on. Chesterfield got the second goal just before half time. But credit to Mark White, he made a double substitution at the break, introduced Bobby Joe Taylor out wide and Luke Moore, experienced midfielder. And in tandem with Chesterfield just backing off naturally with the sort of pattern of the game, it gave us the platform to go on and have a go in the second half. And thankfully for McShane and a really well taken goal by Luke Moore with about 20 minutes to go, rescued a point. And and further to what we were saying earlier, Mark, if anything, was obviously frustrated that, with an hour of play and the midfielder having a go in goal for Chesterfield, Ollie Banks, that maybe could have done more on the day. Chesterfield obviously the misery compounded very late on, had a second yellow card for the fullback Horton and for time wasting with a throw. So certainly coming up against Chesterfield on day one, first game, good point. But on reflection with the way the game played out and further to Mark's comments, a little bit disappointment as well that maybe couldn't have pressed on and actually taken sort of further advantage there. Yeah.
So you've obviously got some attacking threat. You've had 12 promotions in the last 22 seasons. James, do you fancy Dorking coming to Boundary Park and having a go? And or do you think they'll try and
Absolutely.
sort of? You think they'll be in straight from the off? Is that the style?
I don't think we know how to play any other way, to be honest. Our best form of defence is to attack. I think at times we have been a little bit open because of the formation that we play and the way that we play. We like to get it down. We like to play football. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip on YouTube of when we went to Stockport a couple of years ago in the FA Trophy. The goal from back to front that we scored that night was one of the best goals I think a lot of people had ever seen. Stockport ran a poll about the best opposition goal they'd ever seen at Edgeley Park, and the goal that Niall McManus scored that night was a goal that they voted as the best goal. We went up there and turned them over 4-0. So we've got players in that team that just like to play. They just like to get the ball down and play. We don't go direct. One of the things I noticed last year, we played Southend in a FA Trophy game as well, and they were National League at the time, and we were National South, and how physical they were and how direct they were, and how basically a lot of teams do that in the National League, and we had a goalkeeper. We took a goalkeeper on loan last year or sort of a short-term signing, Stuart Nelson, very experienced, about 40 years old, but because our keeper was injured, and then we couldn't get one that wasn't cup tied for the FA Cup. And Stuart Nelson played for years and years, and he seemed to struggle to adapt to the way that we played because we like to go short from the keeper and then out to the one of the midfielders normally comes in and takes it off the back, or one of the fullbacks. Then we like to play. And Nelson was sort of stuck in this, I'm a goalkeeper, and for 30 years, all I've done is have it in my hands and whack it long. Yeah. So lots of teams like to go direct. And that was one of the things that we noticed was a lot of direct, balls into the channels, balls into the corners, throw-ins, big guy up top, win flick-ons, old style sort of type football, really. That's what a lot of teams will play to their strengths as. So Dorking will come and get the ball down and look to play. So it's got the makings of being a decent game, hopefully.
Well, you got Ryan Seeger up front, hadn't you? Who was like the top scorer in the National League South as well. I'm really
behind Alfie Rutherford, who is our other striker. So we've got the two top scorers. Ryan Seeger was at Hungerford and Alfie was with us, and both of them got over 30, I think, Dan. Yeah. So yeah.
But his Hungerford Town record.
Played together very much, but two good centre forwards in their own respect.
Like 41 goals in 59 games, Seeger scored for Hungerford Town. So it's a bit like, oh my goodness me. I hope he's not like who was that lad who used to play for Poole Town? He went to the Premiership, Charlie Austin sort of esque, ex-Southampton, bangs loads of goals in and gets a big move. That's what I'm really worried about.
He played for Hungerford.
He did.
He came through from there. And no disrespect to Hungerford, but they were sort of a hard-working mid-table side as well. And, and somebody coming into a side like Dorking, he's going to get chances because of the way we play.
Well, this game was always going to be on the telly, wasn't it? Because Dorking coming up from National League South for the first time into the National League, Oldham, ex-Premier League, going into the this journey that we've discussed tonight, the differences and all the rest of it are obvious. We've had 4 years of absolute turmoil at Boundary Park, which have 2 relegations in 4 years. We've had fans boycotting. If it wasn't for the fact that the new owners come in now, we sold 1,000 season tickets in a day. We've now sold nearly 4,000 season tickets, where attendances some points last season were probably down to about 1,500. In reality, in people that were actually going to the games, whereas the clubs were saying that there was 3,500, 4,000 there. There weren't. It got very, very difficult, and we were all set up to go into this new season with more of the same. However, we've got the new owner, we've got the big game on TV, but one of the big things that has really inspired a lot of people and grown over the few years, and I think one of the things that teams like Wealdstone and Dorking, when they come to Boundary Park, will be really impressed by, is our ultras, our fans behind the goal in the Rochdale Road and the Atleticos, and they've grown over the last 10 years, bringing in new fans. And I'm going to bring in Ryan, who is one of the guys who has been just absolutely pivotal in getting this movement going. He's faced a lot of issues with the old administration of the club, but they've been fantastic. And I'm sure there's not going to be too many. Wealdstone are up on a Tuesday night. There's not going to be too many of your fans there. And the Dorking, I have no idea how many you guys are bringing up. But whoever comes to Boundary Park this season will be impressed by the Atleticos, because they impress me every single time that I'm there. So here's Ryan. How are you doing, pal?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks, fellas, for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Are you looking forward to getting back in there into Rochdale Road End on Saturday at the Jimmy Frizzell stand?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely this season. I mean, we're already looking at 300 or 400 season ticket holders already in our block, which is got to be most we've ever had. And especially the last 2 or 3 months at the end of last season, we're sat at the bottom of the division. We're filling a block of 600 supporters, and it's raucous from half an hour before the match till way past the end. So definitely looking forward to this season and getting back on Saturday.
Just for the other guys, so last season we got beat 3-0 by Harrogate away, and it was absolutely dreadful. It was awful. That was in January. We all thought, that's it, we're doomed. We'd had an interim manager who'd got 2 points out of 7 games. Before that, Keith Curl had had a nightmare of a start. We were in the bottom 2. It was all over. But they brought John Sheridan back, who's the Lord and Saviour. He'd saved us twice before from relegation. And a lot of people who had been boycotting thought, right, okay, well, we're going to give this one last go. We'll get into the ground. We'll get behind the fan, get behind the team, get behind Shez. And the Atleticos were out in force, weren't they, Ryan? And the atmosphere was great, wasn't it, in the last sort of, I don't know, was it last
10 games, wasn't it? The half season ticket, was it the last 10 games of the season? Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah. Rochdale, it was just brilliant.
Bradford, Bristol City, those games, Leyton Orient, they all stand out, don't they?
Even Sutton, when we got beat, battered 3-0 at home. Yeah. It was just great. They never stopped singing. Exeter, Carlisle, Port Vale away, and the away following. It just goes without saying, doesn't it? Did you go on Saturday?
Yeah, I was there Saturday. Yeah, it was.
What do you think? You think like ref review was all right in terms of the comments about the ref?
I actually thought it was spot on. Definitely spot on. Yeah. I thought it was a fantastic away day. Torquay, the students were great. The actual place itself, I thought was unbelievable. To see so much sun in one go, I don't think many of us were used to it. So
it was hilly though, wasn't it? A lot of hills.
Oh yeah, definitely sobered you up slightly. It was a fantastic away day. Unfortunately, finished 0-0, but at least there was a bit of a game there. So
should have won, shouldn't we? Really?
Yeah, I think by the end, we did make quite a few mistakes which need to be sorted. A few loose balls here and there, but you got to expect it. There is a reason why these players are playing in this division, so you can't expect anything perfect. But as long as they give it a good go, that's all most of us ask for, and it just helps the atmosphere when they do give it a good try. So, yeah.
What I think, like, obviously, it's going to be, like I've already said, there's big differences between clubs like ours and clubs at the lower end. But what you often hear is that the atmosphere at the grounds in the lower leagues is really good, if not necessarily in terms of volume, but in terms of the welcome that you get and that kind of stuff. Would you say that that's true, guys, from Wealdstone and Dorking? It's obviously going to be different. It varies quite a lot, but some of the smaller grounds and is it a kind of like a sort of slightly friendlier, kind of more welcoming kind of atmosphere and a bit of a laugh and that kind of stuff? Is that what we've got to look forward to? Or is it going to be really needly and really is everyone going to be out
35
for our,
are going to get us
out for our blood? What's it like?
I think it might be different for you guys because you're going to turn up with big followings, especially at the northern grounds. So how you get received might be slightly different to when a couple of hundred Wealdstone fans turn up. But from our experiences, and we travel well as a percentage of our home support, we take 20-25% week in, week out away. And the welcome, the dare I say respect that we've mutually earned with a lot of the bigger clubs, if I'm honest. We got on really well with Stockport, with Wrexham. We hosted Wrexham when they came down for the playoff final, the FA Trophy final. Chesterfield, like we've made an impression, and I think we've got on really well there. Where we found it to be needly was at your Solihull's, your Eastleighs, where you get a lot of gobby kids, a lot of chit chat, all that kind of stuff. So, I'm not trying to draw conclusions about certain clubs or anything like that, but that's certainly from our experience last year.
So what you're trying to say, Wealdstone hates Solihull and Eastleigh. It's fine. It's an environment. It's fine. When we get Eastleigh on, we'll tell them that. It's not a problem.
I think we'll have a good following up at your place on Tuesday. We'll probably take more to you Tuesday than we will Saturday to Eastleigh. Yeah. And I know it's obviously one of the games that was first to look out for on the fixture calendar when it came out. So regardless of the result, I imagine we'll have 150, 200 max there. We'll make some good noise. And I would have expected our fans are that they are great. We'll make good noise. We'll have a drink. We'll be respectful. And, I'm really looking forward to the trip.
Are you making the trip, Adam? Yeah.
I'll be there, yeah. Yeah.
Who's a danger man for you? Excuse me, I'm sorry. I've looked at Dorking in a bit of depth, but Wealdstone, I've not had a chance today. But who's your danger man we need to look out for?
We're still working our team out because I don't know how much you know about us, or obviously we're part-time last year and we will do it again this year. We utilised the loan market really well. So we have good links with Charlton, Fulham, QPR, Watford. Yeah. We rely on maximising 5 loan players in our squad most weeks. We had 4 very, very good loan signings last year. George Wickens, who Fulham goalie, he will go on to the highest level. Aaron Henry, who scored Charlton's equalised last night against QPR in the Carabao Cup. Between the 4 of those loan players that we had from those clubs, 150 appearances, huge impact. So we lost those players this year, and we lost Josh Umera, our top scorer, to Hartlepool. We lost Nick Tavares, probably our best defender, who went to Dagenham. So there was a lot of rebuilding. So we're still kind of getting used to who our new squad is. But we made some quite, what I think is stellar signings for non-league level. We signed Max Kretschmar from Woking, and we fought off some quite big competition to get him. Lewis Kinsella from Aldershot, who's decent enough fullback. And then we've also got a lad in from Hartlepool. So Umera went that way, and this other guy came back down south. But he's a local lad, and he's a character. He was, when we got a leveller on Saturday, he was getting the crowd going. So that's Olafella Olamola, our number 9. He's lively, he's big, he's strong. He'll cause a lot of teams problems this year.
Because you beat Bromley 3-2 at weekend, didn't it? Is that correct?
We did.
And that's a pretty good result, that, considering where Bromley were last season.
Yeah. And we did our preview of the season on our podcast on the Wednesday before the game. And as I was reminded by a few of our fans on Saturday, I was rather negative in my assessment of our chances.
They're good at that, aren't they? They're good at that, aren't they? The fans who don't do anything and then go, you're doing a podcast, but you're wrong. Don't even get me started on tactical play on Saturday. I've been proved right by the non-league paper.
You're right being your bonnet, aren't you? Let it go.
I can't,
Jeez.
Simon.
Let it
go.
Yeah,
it really annoyed me.
We did well. We did really well Saturday. I went to our final pre-season friendly when we played Chelmsford, who are National League South, and we got thumped 3-0. And I walked out of the ground going, well, that's our final pre-season game. We were expecting quite a few injuries to key players as well, so I didn't expect to see them Saturday, and all 3 of them ended up being in the squad. 2 of them came off the bench. And we went from kind of, I was rock bottom walking out of that final pre-season friendly to top of the world, coming back from 2-1 down to deservedly beat Bromley Saturday. So
that's football, Adam. That's
absolutely,
football.
mate.
That's why we love it.
It's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
Love it. So listen, we're going to finish the show. The last 10 minutes, I'm going to bring us. I've got an Oldham fan, Mark, in the pipeline, just waiting there, and with Ryan. So we'll just quickly we'll start with Dan and then James. Give us a prediction for the big match on Saturday, Dan. How do you think it's going to end up, mate?
It's a tricky one. I'm going to go optimistic and faithful. I'm going to say a narrow win for the Wanderers. Keep that theme of optimism and surprising people going. A narrow win for the Wanderers.
What score, mate? What score? Give us a score.
Give us a score.
Go with a 2-1. We'll get it late on. 2-1.
Oh, the cameras will love that, won't they? James, what do you reckon, mate?
I'm going to go 3-1 to Dorking. Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah. We're both in the same league now, guys. Yeah.
Listen.
No, you've done so well as well today. No, I'm not having that. Sorry, mate.
You can't expect a 10 out of 10 for your ref review.
I've changed my mind on your referee thing.
Hey,
whoa. There's one.
Where's my red card? Get the red card. Get the red card. No.
And
I'm only kidding, mate.
Adam, how do you reckon Wealdstone will get on up at Boundary Park on Tuesday night?
We had a regular theme last year that when we went away to those ex-Football League teams, we play really well and lose by a goal. So I'll happily take a point.
I'll happily take you playing really well and losing by a goal.
Yeah.
So. Listen, guys, it's been really good to talk to you. Thanks very much all for coming on. If you're up at Boundary Park in the games, give us a shout, send us a text. We'll buy you a pint, and let's hope you all go home pointless. So, and again, ahead of our upcoming features, it'd be great to talk to you again. So, Thanks very much, guys. All the best, safe trips.
Thanks very much. Honestly,
again.
brilliant. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks very much, Millsy.
Thank you for being so patient, mate. Thanks for being so patient, pal.
It's all right, mate. I was cooking my tea while I was waiting.
What are you having?
I made like a Thai pork rice bowl thing. I showed it to you, but you didn't. I was hoping you'd catch it, but
no.
Thai pork rice bowl.
Sounds all right, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like not beef paste, but
no.
Far from beef paste sandwiches, mate. Far from beef paste.
Mega. Don't knock it till you tried them, mate.
So
I love it, mate. Salmon paste for me though.
Oh, don't tell me you like crab sticks, or is they illegal at crab flavors?
I'll eat crab sticks, yeah. Well, imitation crab meat crab sticks,
Oh my god, absolutely the worst thing.
Salmon paste. You've ruined the show. You've ruined the show.
Oh no.
Anyway, so you're looking forward to getting you're in the Rochester Road again this season, Mark, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to get into as close to Ryan as possible. Really, the atmosphere is great.
Yeah,
I just love it. I love the bounce. It's great.
Good.
So yeah, my season ticket's right in that block. Yeah.
What do you reckon, lads? To Saturday, is it still too early to tell, or did you get enough out of pre-season and Saturday's result against performance against Torquay? How do you think we're going to get on? Or are we going into the kind of unknown sort of territory?
I think we. I was surprised at how well we did on Saturday, considering how poor we were in pre-season. But you step up your game when the season starts. I just hope we don't fall flat on our face, typical Oldham style on Saturday, with a big parade in front of the ground and TV cameras, and then Dorking Wanderers stick a 1-0 winner in the 90th minute. It's destined. It's written in the stars that that's going to happen. But with all due respect, we should be beating teams like this if we want to get promoted. The aim. John Sheridan said the aim was to get promoted. If you're going to get promoted out of this league, you need to be beating teams like Dorking and Wealdstone at home. So,
well, the only two part-time teams in the division, as we've been told this evening. So, but it's like they said, it's like FA Cup every week, isn't it? We've got 2 FA Cup first round ties basically, but generally speaking, like you would struggle at Dorking and Wealdstone away, and then turn them over at Boundary Park, wouldn't you? That would be the general kind of way it works.
Well, we've been terrible at home for years and years, haven't we? So, it'd just be nice to start beating the lower teams, if you will, at home comfortably. It'd just be nice to see for a change.
We've been bad at home since like the Graham Sharp era, towards the end of the Joe Royal era.
Yeah.
We went on that run away from home with Dowie. We've just been so bad at home, apart from a little spurt with Lee Johnson, and we had a bit with Weldings, didn't we, where we were unbeaten at home for about 10 games, but it was
but it's always been better. They've always been better away since like 2001, since I've been supporting them. So
yeah.
But Ryan, we've now got an atmosphere at Boundary Park, haven't we? Which is totally different to what it was. I think you deserve a huge amount of credit.
100%.
And what was it like hearing, Frank and that saying what influence you've had on their decision? How did that feel?
Oh yeah, fantastic. I mean, Cammy's milked it thinking it was just about him, but I'm hoping he was more directing it to the whole group. But it's been fantastic. And even just towards the end of last season, not just obviously the club, but just in general, supporters, just the rest of the club, just getting behind us. From donations, even a few this season already providing money for season tickets for younger members who are struggling to get season tickets for this season. So, and then obviously Frank coming in and fully investing in, saying, we were one of the reasons why he wanted to take over the club. That's just a huge part for us, especially as a group. So, and hopefully it just attracts more people to come and join and sing, and whether they want to sing or not is up to them, but just to get in the ground and start supporting the lads. So,
yeah, I mean, there was 2 potential investors at that Leyton Orient game, Frank being one, and then another group, and they were both who we were speaking to, and they were both obviously blown away by it. And I remember it really, really well, that Leyton Orient game, because the singing started right before the game, went all the way through, and there was a point near the end of the half where it just stopped for a little while, and the silence was deafening. It was like you all of a sudden noticed how brilliant the atmosphere had been, because it just, like, I think the drummer must have just been resting his arm a bit, and it just settled down just for a little while, and then it got going again. But you noticed it. You noticed how different it was. And my mum and dad, who have been going to Boundary Park for over 30 years, season ticket holders, obviously they were up in an hour about renewing anyway with the Lemsgums and that. But once they found out that the Atleticos had decided as a group they weren't going, they said, well, no, I'm not going. I'm not sitting in there with 1,500 other people with no atmosphere, because it's not what it's about, is it? It's match day experience. The atmosphere is absolutely crucial.
It'd have been dead with all the Atleticos in there.
It would have been horrendous, wouldn't it?
I sat in the main stand one game against Bradford. Oh my God, to see the Atleticos, how they were just going and bouncing, and the mural that they had, that was going across with that, it was like a way of life. Yeah. It's just unbelievable just to see that. It was bouncing, and it was just a sight to behold, really. So credit to you guys, because honestly, without you guys there, the atmosphere is nothing.
Yeah,
and do you know what? It's really good to hear, because obviously from when we started, the idea was just to get some noise back into the ground and just have a bit of life into it. And, we know for years that our away support is just unbelievable. There's not many grounds that we go to where the home fans even get close to out singing us, but the amount of away fans we've had at our place, and you just watching them, and you just, what's the fun of it?
The turning point for me, Ryan, was when we handed over, when we still had the Chaddy end, and we were giving, like, when we were in League One, someone like Sheffield United came or something, and we'd give them the whole end, and they'd like pack it out with like 4,000 or whatever it is in there, and they'd just make this absolute wall of noise, drown out everything else from us. And obviously, ultimately, we ended up switching around. But I think that's really helped, hasn't it, as well, being in the Rochdale Road end with the acoustics. The sound travels a lot better. Yeah. But now we have this kind of home support that away teams come and envy. It's like an away atmosphere at Boundary Park, and you need young people to generate that, because young people have got a lot more energy than older people. It's just a fact.
Yeah, I mean, you did mention before about the Lincoln game in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably one of the times, being an Oldham away supporter, where we've actually been outsung by the home supporters. And don't get me wrong, they played very, very well. They did beat us fairly on TV. And but their group in the corner, they were a very noisy bunch, very young group, but you know, they were fantastic to watch. And you know, I think definitely recently we've had a lot more younger lot come and join us, which is great. It's great to see the future we're bringing in. You know, there's a lot of kids in there that I've never seen before in my life, and you know, I think you got to halfway through the season, and I was seeing them every single week. You know, and that was just fantastic, and especially also hearing that the older you know, supporters are really getting behind us, and maybe they don't want to be in with all the jumping and you know, all the raucous, but you know, they're still wanting to stand nearby or get involved, or you know, get the singing going on. And I think there's a good mix. You know, there's definitely the new stuff. You know, the jumpy stuff, and finding a good combination with the traditional stuff. You know, there's nothing that we want to take away. Obviously, if the Chadian facilities were better, and maybe even terracing, you know, if we went back to, you know, the early 90s or before that, we'd obviously love the Chaddy end. You know, it's a fantastic stand. The history in it is just unbelievable. You know, you never have Liverpool to move from the Cop or United from the Stretford end. So, but you know, when we're getting into these divisions and we've got a ground of 12,000 and we're only having 3,500 there, you've got to try and give the home advantage as much as you can. You know,
definitely.
So
definitely, and it's worked. And I've just got my season ticket, and I've got it for exactly where I go when I'm in paying, which is, you know, where I see you down the bottom at the back of the Rochester Road. I love being at the back of the Rochester Road. I love the whole stand in front, in your block, at the back. Like that's exactly where I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the ground. That is exactly where I want to be. I'm not going to jump up and down all like a nutter, because I'll throw my pie up, but I'll be clapping, I'll be singing, because I love clapping and singing, and I love watching it spread through the ground, through the stands. And the thing is that when we're getting beat by Dorking on Saturday 1-0, we've got to keep going. We've got to keep that belief. We've got to keep going and try and get us over the line. And we tried really hard last season, didn't we, to do that? The squad unfortunately just didn't have it. They just didn't have enough, did they, to do it? Unfortunately, no.
And I think that's where we obviously do want the mix of the younger and the older there. The younger are very much you know, if you're winning, the atmosphere is amazing, it's bouncing, you've actually got something to sing for. The older lot understand that you need to get behind the players when you're losing, and I think that good combination of mix of older and younger lot within the same block is just teaching each other, you know, how to get behind the lads, whether you're losing or not. So, you know, obviously the main thing for most of us down at the bottom is just keep it going no matter what. We couldn't give it, if it's 7-0 on the pitch, you know, we'll still be there like we did at Mansfield, and we were 6-1 down, and you know, the stand was rocking. It's all about having a good time, especially, and we can only influence so much on the pitch, but as long as the backing's there, then that's all we can do. So
you can't underestimate how important it is for the younger kids, because my nephews come with us, not every game, but the oldest is 6, the younger is 3. And it's the atmosphere of the singing and the clapping that they love the most. That is what makes it for them. And I remember from when I was a nipper and I used to go to Boundary Park, it was the songs and the atmosphere, because you don't really know what's going on the pitch for the majority of the game. Like you know, because you're young, but you're engrossed in the atmosphere. It's what it's all about. And hopefully we can keep it going. My concern is that the longer we're in this division, if we don't make it out first time, it's going to get a little bit more difficult every season just to keep that. If we're not challenging, if we're challenging, we're missing out at the last, then it'll be all right, won't it?
But we're going up. How many times do you need to be told? The positive Dave's out. We're going up, and we're going to beat Dorking. We're going to be fine. It's fine.
I think we're going to be fine. I think it's going to be a good season. I think compared to the last God knows how many, it's going to be a good season.
It's about bloody time, isn't it?
I mean, like if Paddy were on, he'd be saying, "Well, the least you'd expect from Oldham in the National
Paddy
League."
wants in the Champions League, doesn't he?
As long as we don't finish 17th, just give us something better than 17th.
We need that top half, don't we? We need that progress. We need that. If we finish in the top half, finish in the top 10, at least. We might well finish in the top 7. I think we're capable of getting a playoff place. I think we've not brought any loans in yet, have we?
I think we're a couple of players short of it. But we looked solid on Saturday.
We did.
Dave said on the pod, that Sheeran, he's a top signing for us.
Sheeran,
Sheeran. Clark's a good player. Hogan's, we've got some decent players for this level. We just need a bit of pace and a bit of attacking.
Well, Burgess, I think, should have come good. Burgess should have come on. But if Gardner had not been sent off, he would have brought Burgess on for the last 10. But lo and behold, Gardner got sent off for that second yellow card, which was a second yellow card. The first one wasn't. It was never a yellow card.
Almost like it weren't him or something.
Pardon?
Were it mistaken identity for the first yellow or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. He was a right gort, weren't he? To be quite honest, let's have it right. He was rubbish. I'm waiting for the call when it goes, is there a trained referee in the crowd? And everyone will just go, Bradley, get on the drum.
Is that like running down the steps, taking his shirt off?
I wear a referee's uniform under my everyday clothes because that's what all referees
Emergency
do.
ref.
Just go into the phone box, spin round, and just we run out with a whistle and a red card. Yeah. So
right, okay, we're going to wrap it up, lads. But give us your predictions for Dorking and Wealdstone, Ryan. How do you think we're going to get on?
Oh, do you know what? I worry when we're on TV. I've watched us enough times on TV to know it's never a good sign when the cameras turn up. But I'd like to think a good, confident 3-0.
Do for me, Ryan.
Get the atmosphere rocking. TVs are there. Let's show them what we're about. So fingers crossed.
What about Tuesday against Wealdstone? Is it going to be 6 points out of 6 or what?
I think also it's going to be another hard game. I think, like you say, two semi-professional teams, these are the ones that you got to win. You're going to go fighting for playoffs and promotions. You're going to win them. So I think maybe another harder game. But I'm thinking a 2-1.
All right, I'll take it. 5-1 on aggregate. I'm happy. Mark, how do you think we're going to get on?
3-2 against Dorking.
Ooh, sounds like a good game.
I don't think
always a good game on Latics on telly. Normally badly, but yeah, I don't know. I've just got this horrible feeling we're going to get turned over by Dorking on Saturday with how all the fans have been on Twitter and that. It's just going to bite. It's just going to bite us. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-2, and then Wealdstone, I'll go 2-0 to Latics.
Right then, Matt.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Latics against Dorking. I think they'll probably score in front of the cameras, but I think we'll probably just have enough. And Wealdstone 1-0 to Latics.
I'm just going to go 0-0 for both, I think. No.
You don't do predictions, do you?
Not really. Just 0. I'm just going to say 0-0. 0-0.
You just concentrate on the referee. For next Wednesday's referee.
You said we're going up.
Yeah.
You said we're going up. You can't predict 0-0 against Dorking and Wealdstone, can you? You can't say we're going up and then say 0-0.
The referee. I'm just going to score the referee, and they're both going to be 9 out of 10, both of them.
We'll see.
You heard it here first.
Who cares as long as we win?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thanks very much for your time. It's been a busy one tonight, a lot to get through, but I think it's been good. I've enjoyed it. Mark and Ryan, I look forward to seeing you both in the rock. So, Ryan, are you going to be participating in the procession?
Hopefully, yeah. We're
going to be the rhythm section for the brass band.
Definitely not. I'm not that good, not that talented, but yeah, no. We're hopefully planning a bit of a display. So we're going to be starting hopefully about midday setting up. So fingers crossed we can get up to top of Sheepfoot Lane, but it's going to be time dependent. So
loving it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see you both back in Boundary Park in the Rochdale Road and making loads of noise.
I won't see you because I'm not going to the game on Saturday because I've booked a holiday. So yeah, I'm absolutely devastated. So I've even tried saying the trains are cancelled. Let's not bother. No, we'll just drive. So yeah, Mrs. Bradley's won this one. So yeah, a bit gutted, but I'll be watching.
Nice one. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
See you on Saturday.
See you Saturday.
I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah, I'll see you. Not if I see you first.
The Banter Park Alert System is hosted and produced by Matt Dean and Andy Halliwell for Q Pod Productions. Visit oafcpodcast.co.uk for loads more info, including how to support us for just $2.99 per month, how to sponsor the show to raise money for the 1895 fund, and to read Arlene's brilliant weekly blog. Please follow and interact with us on social media at OAFC Podcast, and you can help change the game by listening to us on the Fan Hub app along with all major podcast platforms. Please like, subscribe and review the pod to help us climb the rankings and get more listeners. Pushtheboundary.co.uk and oasf.co.uk are where you'll find out all about our official supporters groups, getting involved and continuing to raise money for the 1895 fund. Don't miss the Latics Football Phone In with myself and Dave Bradley every Wednesday from 8:30 till 9:30 at youtube.com/the Boundary Park Alert System. Follow us on socials at OAFC Phone In. You can also catch us on the brand new Greatest Manchester Football Podcast live every Thursday night from 8 till 9 on the Greatest Manchester Football Podcast YouTube channel. Follow at GMFootPod for all the details. The title music for the show is by DJ and producer Starion with an R, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records.